After a wild NASCAR championship weekend at Phoenix, it got a lot of people riled up about the point system and potential changes they would like to see to better crown a champion. And I actually have some thoughts of my own and how we could potentially change that system. So let's get into the video. Thanks for checking out another episode of the High Side, and I hope you guys are having an awesome day. As I mentioned, we are going to be talking about possible changes that I think would work for a new points format for the championship from the playoff system. But first, I want to congratulate Sheldon Creed for the Truck Series, who had an amazing restart there at the end to grab the championship. And then we had Austin Cindric in the Xfinity Series, drove a great final restart as well. And Chase Elliott with the fastest car on Sunday blew the doors off everybody. Although the other contenders had a shot at times, at the end of the day, Chase Elliott, the fastest car, did win the race. And so we did have some great racing. And I would love to hear your thoughts now that Chase Elliott or even Austin Cindric or Sheldon Creed, if you guys think they'll win multiple championships, I would love to hear it in the comments below. Personally, I could see Chase winning maybe one other or two more championships before he retires. Who knows, maybe more. Obviously, there was a lot of talk of Jimmy Johnson passing on the torch to Jimmy or to Chase Elliott at the end when, you know, the big scene when they both pulled up to each other, which was a really cool moment. But anyways, I do want to get back into the main point of this video to talk about the point system and possible changes we can see. Obviously, a lot of talk about the point system and how it's set up. There's discussions about this every year, as always, but this year I think it was more prevalent for two reasons. One, when Kevin Harvick got knocked out of the championship, when he got knocked out after Martinsville after winning 9 races this year, and as hot as that team was all year while they weren't in the championship, got a lot of people talking about the point system. And then obviously every year anything can happen in the last race to determine a champion, and we saw that especially on Friday when Brett Moffitt was clearly going to win the race, win his second truck championship, and then the caution came out with about 3 to go, I believe, and caused a green white checkered, which ultimately lost him the race when he didn't go in and pit, and Sheldon Creed came out with fresh tires and won the race. And so with a winner take all last race, no points on the line, there's so many things out of the actual championship drivers' hands that could go wrong, which has been the argument ever since the beginning. But we really saw that again, like I mentioned, on Friday night. We almost saw that again on Saturday when there was another green white checkered. Ultimately, Cindric was leading when the caution came out and still ended up winning, or was still at the very front. And then Sunday for the Cup Series race, we didn't see that, but we still go back to the argument that anything could have happened, and maybe a one-off playoff race where there's no points, it's winner take all, may not be the best answer. And the reasons why I think maybe we do need to look at this is, originally when we had the winner take all format that NASCAR announced, I think the big reason for this is they wanted to create Game 7 moments. And I think over the years, now that we have these Game 7 moments every year, it's kind of lost its luster. It's not so special every year or every time when it's happening every single year. Let me know if you guys agree with that. Agree with me in the comments, but I really feel that way. If this is happening all the time, you know, it loses its luster. We see this all the time, especially, we see it just like the Christmas movies where we see that kids want to have Christmas every day, and year or day after day it loses its what's so special about it. And it's just that similar idea. I hope that makes sense. And then, as I mentioned, and as everybody's made the argument hundreds of times, there's so many variables that can happen in these winner take all races that are completely out of the driver's hands. Like I mentioned on Friday night, or we haven't really seen this yet, but a championship driver's car could just, you know, they could blow an engine after a completely dominating season. There's just so many variables that can go out of the driver's control that I think a winner take all is I can understand why it's really hard for people to accept them as the true champion. Although all drivers, I will say, are all playing under the same rules. So at the end of the day, I don't think it takes away from anybody's championship, but I think it would help validate, especially for those that maybe aren't as well known about NASCAR, have as well of an understanding of how well a driver is or how successful a driver was that season. So I definitely have what I think would be a better format to better crown a champion. We keep a very similar format to what we have now, but we're going to reverse it, flipping around to the format it is now. So unlike the current format where the last race is a winner take all, no points on the line, one race for the final round. Well, actually, like I mentioned, flip that around and do a wild card race, as I like to call it, a wild card race, where all 16 eligible drivers. Just a sidebar here, I wish it was 12. I think 16 drivers is too much, but for the sake of not too much change, we will keep it at 16 drivers in the playoffs. But as I was saying, we'll have one wild card race, and of course, all the playoffs points earned during the regular season will carry over into this wild card race. But I think this one race for the first round is a good idea. Why I think this is a good idea is because oftentimes, like we saw this year with Austin Dillon, although he did much better than I think a lot of people expected in the playoffs, but like a Cole Custer, there's drivers that maybe squeak in on points or have that one win that kind of freak win that like Cole Custer, who clearly wasn't a true playoff car, but got him by that win. I think a one race deal will help eliminate a lot of those cars instead of dragging on the playoffs. Oftentimes we see in the first round with the 16, we obviously know for the most part who's going to be out of the championship battle after that point. And so I think for the sake of time and excitement, I think a one race wild card race, as I like to call it, would be great to eliminate those that are not necessarily true playoff contenders and make the round of 12 more exciting and get to more exciting rounds quicker. And so that's how I would start the playoffs. Now, obviously, we would go on to the round of 12, and this is where it gets more similar to the current format. We would, again, carry over the playoff points. There would be 3 races, and we will, if you win one of those races in the round of 12, you can carry on to the round of 8. And again, you can accumulate your playoff points and take them on to the round of 8. And we would do the cutoff similar to how we would cut off the round of 12 now. And then we would move into the round of 8. It would work basically exactly like it works now. The round of 8, you can carry over your playoff points. And if you win, you can go on to the championship 4 round. And again, you can, like I mentioned, you can carry over your playoff points. And then that comes to our championship 4, and this is where it's a little different. Now, in the championship 4, and under my current format, you would no longer carry over your championship points into the round of 4. Everybody would start dead even, 0 points for everybody. But instead of the one race, winner take all race, to better help minimize those circumstances, freak incidents that may happen in a one race take all race, having 3 weeks in a round similar to the previous rounds, I think will help eliminate those, help better crown the champion, and hopefully help the cream rise to the top at that point. And I think it would add a little more validity to the champion who is ever crowned the champion, instead of necessarily pinpointing the one incident that may have allowed that person to win the championship. Again, I know I keep bringing this up, but similar to how Friday night went down. One thing I will add that we would do in the last round, just to incentivize that winning is still important, is I would add 10 additional points on top of the amount of points a winner gets already. That way that winning is still as important as ever, and it can carry huge into the last race and eventually into crowning the champion. Again, this is for multiple reasons. One, to, as I keep saying, minimize the freaking incidents that can really play an impact in the winner take all races, and give all 4 championship drivers a better chance, a more equal chance to go race for that championship. But I also think this helps with those game 7 moments. With 3 races, I know a lot of times I'm sure it'll come down to the last race. I don't see how it couldn't. With those championship 4, there's still those moments for game 7. Now, of course, just like any other sport, not every championship round is going to be exciting. It's going to have a game 7 moment. We see this in baseball, we see this in basketball, we see this in hockey, where they all have their round of 7 games, or they want to make a big deal about game 7 moments. Well, we don't want to do that every year under this current format. As I mentioned earlier, I just think it loses some of its luster, and I think it makes, with this format that I'm proposing, I think it creates more organic or natural game 7 moments, instead of every single moment feeling like it's that big moment. And I know I might be repeating myself, but I really want to drive it home that the game 7 moments that NASCAR really wants to push, I think is maybe losing its luster. We've seen that with the ratings. I know this past season, the championship race, I believe, was one of the lowest in quite a few years as far as viewership. And I don't know if that necessarily has to do with the playoff format, but I think that definitely plays a role. Again, just to summarize my proposed playoff format, we'd have one race, a wild card race, all 16 drivers, and they would carry over their points. Then we go on to a round of 12. After that one race playoff where 4 would be eliminated, go on to a round of 12, similar to how we have it now. On to a round of 8, similar to how we have it in the current NASCAR Cup points system. And then we go to Championship 4, where we would have a 3-race playoff just like we do now, but playoff points do not carry over at the beginning of the championship round. I think that would make things a little more exciting, a little more natural. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you guys like that idea? Do you like that format? If you guys have ideas for how you would like to see the playoffs or the point system play out in the future, I would love to hear your thoughts or comments in the comment section. So thanks for listening to my idea. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new and you want to see more content like this. I'm really looking forward to next year. I think it's going to be really cool. We got 2311 racing. We got just a March racing coming in. We got whole bunch of changes that to look forward to, even though the new next gen car won't come till 2022. I still think there's a lot to look forward to next year. So I'm really looking forward to it. Again, thanks for watching the video. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next video.